If you could only smell the delicious things on the grill right now, and we're going to show you some of these great recipes, starting with the all-American favorite, Allison, and that's
right.
the hamburger.
That's right. It's National Burger Month, so you kind of have to have a burger recipe.
Absolutely, and you always bring some interesting tweaks to a traditional burger. But how do we start and get that perfect burger? What's the first thing we need to think about?
Well, obviously, is thinking about the beef, and picking out the right kind of ground beef is very important. What we're going to use in this recipe, you can actually use different kinds, but what we're using is an 80-20 ground beef.
Okay.
And that means,
and you can tell them what that means.
80% lean, 20% fat. Okay. And so we want a little bit more fat in there because, first of all, you're going to want it to stick together, but second of all, we're putting it on the grill, which is a lean cooking method. So it'll actually let that fat drip away as it's cooking. So a little bit of fat is okay because you're going to be grilling it. Now, if you were putting it in a skillet, that might be something a little different you would want to think about. Which this recipe also, when we talk about our lean cuts, 95% lean ground beef is going to be considered lean by USDA standards.
Well, there you go. So if you see an advertisement about lean ground beef from USDA with a food pyramid, for instance, then they're talking about a really, really, really lean cut, right?
And it'll work just perfect in this recipe because we have the binding agents that we're going to add that'll hold it together. Versus if you're not adding anything, you're just making a regular patty, you might want to use something that has a little bit more fat in it.
So this is the one time that a little bit more fat can make a difference because it does cook away, and that makes it a good thing, you know, to give it more flavor there too. Well, let's
and everything
get
in
started.
moderation, obviously.
Now, here in Allen County, we have Houchins IGA, we have Food Line, we have our Junior Foods, our Dollar General Market. So people should look for that percentage. To really get the best burger.
Yes, and also a couple other things when you're looking at ground beef, and we can look at this right here. As you can see, ground beef actually goes through a color change. And it is going to be very variable compared to a steak or a roast. And as you can see here in the ground beef, we've got a little bit of bright cherry red, and we've got a little bit of darker brown.
Is that a bad thing?
No. And that's the thing a lot of consumers don't know about is that they think that maybe the grocery store is trying to kind of sell some old beef.
Kind of push it off, you know.
Not the case. Actually, beef starts out purple and goes purple, then bright cherry red, and then brown. And it's basically called oxidation, and what happens is just like a banana, it ripens as it's exposed to oxygen. So so sometimes when you get like a big chub of ground beef or a patty or something, you open it up and it might be darker in the middle or it might be a brighter color. It's because of the oxygen oxidation that's occurred. So once it goes brown, it will never go back to bright cherry red. But bright cherry red could go back to purple.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. It's
so
kind of a
little
colors.
chemistry lesson in there. So that don't be concerned if you get some that's got a multi bright cherry red brown color. I always say you can sometimes find some really good deals in the manager's section because a lot of consumers they pick their beef on the color, but if they don't know that brown is not a problem, then you can get a good deal. So
the sell-by date may not be the food safety date, in terms of that.
And we always say once you get your beef home from the grocery store on ground beef, it's about 1 to 2 days of shelf storage in the refrigerator. And then about 3 to 4 months in the freezer. Versus the steak's got a little bit longer.
So we're buying the best value meat, and we're going to get a good value here. And now we're adding, as you said, some binding agents to this burger. Now this recipe is a bruschetta burger. So what makes it special?
We're going to add a little bit of green onions, and say you don't have green onions, not to worry,
You could just use a regular sweet onion that you chop. So a little chopped onion, green onions add a lot of color, I can see that.
Yes, it does. And then Parmesan cheese.
Grated Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, you can just buy your shredded or however you want to do it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mix it up, and obviously I like gloves, but some people just like to go, take their aggressions out.
They do.
So we're just going to mix it up. And then we're going to patty it out, and as you can see our patties here.
We've got the patties up here, and we are outdoors today, and we've got some uninvited guests, but that's okay. We're just grilling these and showing demonstrations today there too.
And on our
just like home.
our grill, on our patties, we say don't play with your patties. So you saw I just took a few little pats around, try to make about 1/4 pound there. Oops.
and I noticed that you're not just mashing those down there, Allison, there too. So again, just kind of working those quickly, and we're ready to go on the grill.
Throw it on the grill.
And now you didn't add any salt, any pepper, any seasoning.
What you don't want to add any salt for is because it'll actually make it brown fast, or not brown as fast, and it will also pull out the moisture.
Good point. And that's something you don't want is a dry hamburger.
No,
like that too.
definitely not.
Absolutely not.
So we're going to put this on a medium-high grill.
Okay.
Okay.
And we would want to put this plate aside. You put some hot sudsy water on it because we don't want to reuse that.
And the spatula
And
too.
the spatula too.
Yes,
so
sir.
We
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
change utensils and get ready for grilling. Now, for the sake of time today, we
Yes.
just happen to have some burgers that are magically cooked.
Convenience.
Yes.
All right, so we've got some, and I said medium-high heat, which is about 4 seconds if
Okay.
you hold your hands over it.
Okay.
And this is gas, and so what we're looking for is 160, which I believe that this one will definitely get there. It's been on here for a little while, and it's
Okay.
kind of shrunk down, so we're making it smaller because of our bread. So
Exactly.
that's
And
medium doneness.
again, so medium doneness, and as long as the temperature registers 160, you can still have a little pink inside, and it's not dangerous.
Well, you shouldn't really have any pink in a
Okay,
burger.
so
yeah.
no pink in a burger.
Yes.
So always watch for that, and when you're ordering burgers at fast food, remember that. The
That's
pink
exactly
burgers, interestingly, my son, I think, had a little food poisoning because of that problem.
That's not a good thing.
He ate a pink burger at a golf tournament. That was a bad thing.
Yep.
So we're plating this up right now.
Okay.
Stay with us. We'll be back to kind of finish this up, and we'll show you another recipe in a moment. So stay with us. We'll be right back.